Hi guys, here's another storyboard tip that I hope that helps. Today we're going to talk about the language of composition. And one of the things that we have in composition is the language of line. So let's see here. We have, in this composition, the division of the board is divided straight in half. We try to avoid that because it's kind of a boring composition. It's usually a better idea to divide it up into thirds. Now understand that this thirds grid is not the end-all be-all. It's just a launching pad. It's up to you as an artist to explore a variety of different composition layouts, but it tends to be a safe one for most beginners. Also try to avoid dividing your subject into nice, even space within the composition. Thirds tends to work pretty good on this one. You'll notice in this one, we divided it up into thirds, but also I've added these lines here where we're keeping us out of the corners so that our view doesn't run right off the page. Let's say you have a room and you're laying it out. Try to avoid having your lines go right out the corner of your composition and your shapes being open. The window's open, the door's open, and these are pretty parallel to the panel. Instead, try to do more of an angled shot while you're closing your window and closing your door. In this one, we divided it right in half. If you're really insistent on dividing things right in half, try to give a little variation to it. You'll notice it's the same shape, but a different size, and also divide nicely in thirds. A little bit awkward in that one too. Now, I looked at a friend's composition today, and it was something similar to this. And you'll notice that subconsciously, he had allowed the edge of the table to run right out of the picture frame, which allowed the viewer to leave the picture frame. Now, I suggested to him to lower his horizon line and add a little bit of overlapping shapes, because this will help us keep the composition within the picture frame. We tend to have a nice triangle here where we're constantly bouncing around. Again, if you really love dividing it in half, you can do that, but also try to add a little bit of pizzazz to it. You'll notice here it's divided in half, but also added this line to just keep it a little bit off kilter. And again, if you're really hell-bent on dividing it in half, here's another thing you can do. You can add a little bit of a wiggly line over it. It makes it more interesting as we're dividing up the composition. But again, try not to make your horizon line smack in the middle or your mountain range smack in the middle. Again, if you must insist on dividing your composition in half, try adding some heavier elements on the outside. Again, dividing it in thirds, but yet keeping it kind of interesting as a composition. I hope this tip helps.